My guests today say that they have been in the closet ever since they began to like girls. They didn't know what was wrong with them. They just didn't like the skinny girls. They liked the fat ones. Doug, Conrad, and Dan say that their sexual fantasies are of women weighing between 200 and 300 pounds. And, happily, each of their wives are fat. We're going to start with Doug. Every time I have to use the word fat, I guess it's societal training, but I cannot say that word. I just think that I would no more say to somebody, you're fat, you know, I think it's an insult, and so I'm uncomfortable with it. And you like the word?
But that's because I've sort of untrained myself. In our culture, fat is an insult. I think it's an adjective, it's descriptive. It's like having red hair, or it's like having a certain shape of nose. But you throw out one three-letter word and it zaps people. I mean, what comes out when you want to insult somebody? You big...
Right.
Exactly.
When you want to insult somebody, you say, you big...
But how did it get that way? It wasn't that way 100 years ago. I mean, throughout history, fat has been considered actually an advantage of wealth and of ability to provide for oneself. But here in this particular culture...
It's a pejorative.
Yeah.
You are attracted to women who are fat. Okay, I'm going to learn to say it if it makes everybody else comfortable. What is it that you really like?
It's hard to describe because I'm just not sharing the same brain length with everybody else, but it evokes certain images for me. First, there's the softness. When, well, like when you come up to hug a fat woman, there's a sort of a dynamic there. I mean, her body hugs back. When I hug a thin woman, no insult intended, but it's like hugging a coat rack. You know, there's a softness, there's a sensuality, there's just the contact with flesh. There are also images of, like, power. I mean, they say in the boardrooms that the small, skinny women aren't taken seriously, but the heavy ones are there for business, and they are respected. Well, it's similar to that. For a fat admirer, you get these images of, I don't know, I think thin admirers like to have the feeling that they can push the woman around. Whereas the fat admirer, it's a more benevolent association. It's less coercive, and so you're making friends with, well, it's like being in awe of, say, a battleship or a mountain.
Yeah, but wait.
Well, I'm sorry, that's a pejorative too.
Would you want to go to bed with a battleship?
No way.
I thought, and I don't know, you don't know that I'm going to do this. Nobody knows I'm going to do this, actually. You wrote, you're a writer, and you wrote something about 5 years ago that I got a hold of. And I thought that it aptly described a sexual attraction. I delight in the drama, the contradictions, and the tensions as I explore and fondle each fold. My fingers slide into a crevice, feeling the moist, warm pressure of surrounding flesh. I heft the power-laden mass of breast and belly and hip and thigh, and as she shifts, my eyes follow the wave and ripple flowing across her skin. My hands feel the dynamic as fat packs the skin tight here and leaves softness there. Oh, the weight, oh, the weight. How can such softness bear down so heavily, so strongly, like feathers crushing me between her and the earth? Fat feels to me like love. You have always been attracted to fat women?
I have.
Always. Since you were...
I first noticed it when I was about 10 years old.
10 years old. Mm-hmm. Conrad, let's talk to you.
Okay.
Always, you're from Switzerland, always been attracted to fat women.
Yes, that's true. And I think it goes without saying that the way you get along with a person and, you know, the chemistry and the mutual understanding is, of course, essential in any relationship. I think, you know, nobody argues that. But beyond that, I think everybody has a preference for a certain type. You know, you may be attracted to a tall person or a short person, or you may like blondes or brunettes and so on. And I think a preference for a large person is just a preference like any other preference.
But when you expressed that to your friends when you were growing up and when you were a teenager and everyone was picking out, I like a blonde or I like a girl with a big breast, and you were saying, I just like fat, what did your friends say to you?
Well, I think that men like us are kind of playing it a little bit low-key because obviously thin is in, and you are under a lot of peer pressure to conform. And especially when you're younger, in your teenage years, that can be very difficult. And you know, you really have to find yourself and say, hey, this is me, and I have my own preference, and I live my own life the way I want it.
What does a skinny woman do for you when we're talking about sexual attraction? Maybe I'm asking all three of you. What is a skinny woman? Huh?
She could be a good friend.
A skinny woman is a good friend?
Sure. I think a skinny woman can be attractive. She can be beautiful. She can be a good friend. But I think as far as partnership goes, I would not find her attractive.
All right. That leaves you, Dan.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit different in that respect. I like fat women, and for many of the reasons that Doug stated, I'm attracted to them because of the sensuality. The majesty and the power that he described is not a feeling that I have. That's sort of extraneous to me. I don't really see it as that kind of an issue. I see it as a sensual issue in the sense that the Renaissance painters did. And
now, when you say something like, I see it like Rubens, or I see it like a Renaissance paintings, perhaps we have more of an understanding. Did all three of you think you were odd when you were growing up?
I think that everybody who feels the way we do, at some point in their life at least, think they're the only man in the world that has that preference.
You're the only one, and you're different because obviously most men, like this gentleman, say, no, no, I don't. All right.
It's a lot like having 11 fingers. I mean, it's not something that you tend to be proud of. You're
keep
unique,
it in the
but
closet.
you keep it, yeah.
All right. We have been talking about your wives. We are now going to bring them out. Please meet Diane Zimmer, Ruby Blickenstorfer, and Sharon Davis. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Good morning. It's time for a healthy breakfast. This time your kids will eat it. A cereal with lots of protein. Don't worry, your kids will eat it. And complex carbohydrates. It's new, crunchier Life cereal. Relax, your kids will eat it. Life is still deliciously frosted on the inside, but new Life is crunchier on the outside. Life tastes so good, even grown-up kids will eat it.
There's a monster behind the chair. And ate all your cereal.
New crunchier Life cereal and Cinnamon Life. Unless they're weird, your kids will eat it.
Hello, I'm Don Palladino, inviting you to attend the franchise show this Saturday and Sunday at Boston's Park Plaza Hotel, The Castle. Never before have so many franchises and distributorships been on display in the New England area. A business of your own means never being out of work again. That's the franchise show this Saturday and Sunday at Boston's Park Plaza Hotel, The Castle, located on Arlington Street and Columbus Avenue. From noon to 6 p.m., admission is just $5. Don't miss it.
This fall, there'll be some changes made. Dress to thrill this fall at Pheasant Lane Mall, Nashua, New Hampshire.
There's one thing I hate about my legs, shaving. They feel like sandpaper the next day. Now there's a way to have silky, smooth legs that last for weeks. It's the brilliant new Epilades. Epilades Coil removes hair at the root, so there's no stubble the next day. Just silky smoothness that lasts for weeks. Epilades proves that we ladies weren't meant to shave.
Epilades, available at fine department stores.
Relatives who steal your man on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Today at 5 on 5.
are the women that made these men's dreams and fantasies come true? Diane and Ruby and Sharon. Now, are you going to get crazy? Again, I'm embarrassed. If I give your weight, that's fine. It's okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. Being an aggressive talk show host, Diane weighs about 380 and always had trouble meeting men. Ruby, a little over 300 pounds, was on 65 diets and then found a guy who liked her just the way she was. And Sharon, about 230, and was very careful with men. Now, do I understand that you had all had so much trouble with men that when somebody came along and really admired you, okay, you're fat, and this guy says, I really admired you, did you really believe it was true, or did you try to push these men away?
You've asked a double question there. We were told that men didn't like fat women. So when someone did approach us, we thought there was something wrong with him.
You thought there was something wrong with him?
Well, not him, because by that time I had already found out differently.
Okay.
Okay.
So by the time he approached you, it was fine?
Oh, sure.
But when other men approached you, what did you think?
Like I said, we had been told that they had to be weird, so we thought that. Now, in retrospect, we know that they were perfectly normal.
What did you think?
Oh, I was scared spitless.
Really?
I mean, all my life I had been admired or liked for things other than my body or my face or figure or anything like that.
Like what?
Nice
What did
personality.
Nice
if you just lose some weight, you'd have a great personality.
Bright woman.
Yeah.
So jolly.
Yeah. Jolly.
Oh, yeah.
So neat and jolly. All right.
And so if you've got a good job and you've got a good other life, the social stuff, you sort of fit in with friends. And you hang on groups, or you go out alone, or you take a bunch of guys and they're with other girls, so you're not paired off. And then it was okay. But if you went out duo, 1 and 2, then you figured there's always an ulterior motive. Even if there isn't, you're assuming there is.
So fat women would tend to push men away even when they shouldn't push men away. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. My experience is that growing up as a child, it became an issue because my father, who was fat, was married to my mother, who was fat. But he made it an issue all the time. He actually beat her, and that was his excuse for beating her.
Why did he beat her?
Because she was fat. She was fat when he married her. He knew she was fat, but she was supposed to lose weight. She was supposed to become this perfect, his ideal woman. He was going to change her. The fact that he was fat, that was okay, because if a man is fat, he's powerful. Mm-hmm. But for a woman to be fat, that was a great crime. So I grew up with this. So my idea when I was looking for a man was that I was not going to make the same mistake my mother made. I was relieved when he said he found fat women attractive. So, you know, in my case, I made sure I was careful, because I wasn't going to end up in the same kind of trap my mother did with her first marriage.
Wow, I would assume that would do a number on you. Okay, you're sitting at a bar, sitting with a thin girlfriend.
Or 2.
Or 2, all right. The men came over to the thin girls, Ruby?
Not always.
When they came over to you, what did you do?
I wondered why they passed up my thin friends and asked me to dance, or if they could buy me a drink, or wanted to talk to me. I wondered why.
Did you ask them ever?
No.
Well, you know, I think that Ruby has been a very liberated large woman for a very long time. And I think that shines through. When you look at her, she's so vibrant, and she looks like a great person to get to know. And somehow she always attracted people.
I'd love it. I'd love to hear your...
she had the same problem that many large women have.
Conrad, I want to hear your love story.
Our love story?
Yes.
Our love story started with writing letters. We, let me see, I placed a little ad in one of those personals in a magazine which is for large women, and she answered it. And we started writing.
You were a pen pal?
Yes, we were pen pals for 2 years. We had the most wonderful relationship, and as a matter of fact, we were kind of reluctant to actually see each other in person, because it was so nice to write these letters and to sit there all night and so on. And You know, it took us 2 years to work up the courage to meet each other.
Were you afraid she was not going to be heavy enough?
I had seen pictures of her, and it was just wonderful.
My question is, all the gentlemen are quite slim. How do the ladies feel about fat men?
I would like to comment on that. Okay. Once I found out that there were men who were actually attracted to my size, I decided that I was not going to limit myself to any size, because as all women know, fat and thin, there's not all that many men out there. So why limit yourself? Right.
There are women fat admirers. I've told that they go after either the suave, sophisticated Orson Welles, Raymond Burr type, or the powerful Dan Haggerty mountain man type.
But there are women who only prefer fat men.
There are some.
I have 2 quick questions. When I was 200 pounds, where were you men? Conrad, if for some reason Ruby, God forbid, gets sick or whatever and loses weight, will she still be attractive to you?
Well, I mean, I could ask the question the other way around. If somebody's partner gains a lot of weight, does that affect your feelings for that person?
That's a very good point.
And I don't know. I mean, I would still love her, clearly, but I like her the way she is.
When we return, a fat woman who does not mind flaunting her body.
In Denmark, where they have delicious food, they also have a delicious way to eat less when they diet. Fiber Trim Sparkling Fruit Tabs, a fruity drink with fiber that helps to fill them up. Delicious sparkling fruit tabs from Fiber Trim.
What's the easiest way to top a salad with Velveeta? Try Velveeta Shreds. Easy-to-use shreds of the great Velveeta taste no other shreds can match. That's Velveeta Shreds. Original or Mexican.
Isn't it nice the way a hot bowl of Campbell's soup makes you feel?
That's what Campbell soups are. Good.
Campbell's soup is just one of the many things you'll see at Star Market. You'll also see fresh produce, meats, and seafood, great weekly specials, and the kind of service you just can't find anywhere else. So come to Star and see what makes us shine.
I need an ABI grad, bad. I need an ABI grad, bad.
I need an ABI grad. Bad.
American businesses need ABI grads. At American Business Institute, you learn word processing, data entry, automated accounting, the most up-to-date computer skills on state-of-the-art equipment.
I got an ABI grad. Good.
Call American Business Institute. In Boston, 338-1033. That's 338-1033.
Hood Natural Blenders, a 100% natural blend of fruit juice beverages that taste fresh because they're kept fresh in the dairy case. Hood Natural Blenders, taste a fresh idea.
People are now seeing their ice cream in a luscious new light. Hood Light in Strawberry Supreme, Chocolate Macadamia Crunch, and lots of other ice creamy flavors. Hood Light, 33% less fat, more ice creamy taste.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, just a-sitting with my hires all day. It's got the taste for when you're feeling this way, yeah.
When you're relaxing, there's nothing like the smooth taste of Hires and sugar-free Hires.
Sitting any time of the day, sipping Hires.
Hires, the sit-down soft drink.
Channel 5's Project Shelter would like to thank the kids at the Westwood Youth Commission for their help with the homeless. You could help too. Call 449-0400.
Our next guest weighs 320 pounds. She says she's proud of her body and feels very sexy about being fat. Please welcome Ronda Wood. catch your breath for a moment. Doug, Dan, Conrad, what do you think?
I think it's terrific. I was always wondering about why most belly dancers don't actually have one.
Oh, is that a turn on, Doug?
As I understand, this is the way it's done in Morocco and Ethiopia.
Yes, you're
yes,
correct.
It definitely is for me. I would say that one of the most erotic things that I find about fat is jiggle. I mean, I've gotten in trouble for using the wrong term before, and I have to translate this. It tells me that, okay, our society is into control. You have to be in control of your body, in control of your emotions. Nothing shows, there are no seams. And what this fat tells me is that this is a person who has allowed herself a little freedom. The fat doesn't behave. It's disrespectful, it's impudent, and that excites
Let's
me.
go to the jiggle.
Yeah.
What you're turned on by physically is jiggling flesh.
Yeah, it's a sensual thing. It's visual, tactile.
If I'm sitting in the room with my husband, for example, and a cover girl model walks in, you know, many women can feel insecure or jealous, and the eyes of the men start to wander. Now, did any of you experience that when the belly dancer came in?
Well, she was facing the other way.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't care for heavy people. I used to be really big. And when this lady, God bless you, came out here in that outfit, I just thought, my God, how repulsive. But yes, you're right. It's brainwashed.
That's right.
But I could never get into that sexually. Forget it.
If Rhonda's so proud of her body, how come as soon as she sat down, she covered it all up?
I'd like to answer that. When she stood up, her body was uncovered and she was dancing. You're sitting there, your body's covered up, okay? She's sitting here, she's no longer dancing, so she covers her body up. It has nothing to do with her pride in her
Question.
Hi. Personally, it grosses me out. Okay? But that's fine. That's not me. You know, you're happy. That's all that counts.
I'd like to know why.
What I would like to know is about your sex life. I mean, how don't you get crushed
You
to
tell us
death,
about yours.
you know?
Wait a minute. She is asking questions that an awful lot of people are wondering about. So let's give her a little respect in asking these questions. The first one was?
Like, who's on top?
It depends.
Okay.
Depends on which day it is.
Wait. Conrad?
Yeah, I just, you know, the statement you made that it grosses you out. You see, one thing, it's not what you were asking afterwards, but one thing which is really wrong in this society, that you can say that to a fat person. But if I were here and I said, well, you're black, that really grosses me out. That's completely unacceptable.
We'd lynch the stage.
Yes, we don't do that.
She redid it because he said he didn't like coat hangers or something. It's perfectly okay for her to say that fat people gross you out. But God forbid that we should say that you gross us out. It's just not fair. You don't gross me out.
You call this coat racks, though, but that's acceptable?
I didn't say that.
Well, somebody up there
I
did.
said like. Okay, I was, you know, you guys didn't like Battleship, and you don't like coat hangers. I can't use any descriptive adjectives.
I would like to say that I really...
Rhonda, you were going to answer the sexual question. She said she had some. If you want to be honest enough to answer them, let's go.
I just want to say that I think her question comes from one of the many myths that there are about fat people, that fat women are asexual and that men are not attracted to fat women, both of which are patently untrue and a part of the mythology that goes along. That's one of the reasons why you feel uncomfortable saying fat, is because it's like calling somebody a whole range of other things besides just the descriptive words. But the truth is that fat women are just as sexual as anybody else, feel just as sensuous when they're allowed to. Many of the questions here I've seen are about body image. I've seen very average-sized women stand up and say, well, I feel fat, look at you. But the thing is, all women are unhappy with their body image. That can be changed here and here. You can feel better about yourself at any size, and you can have sex at any size, trust me.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
What would you do if I told you they have beautiful leather shoes for under $20 at Fava? Well, then, do it. because they do.
Fava knows what you want from shoes. Style and a great low price, but you also want shoes that'll stand the test of time. And ours do, or we'll fix or replace them free. Fava guarantees it. You'll go far in Favas.
Got strange customs here. 8 little tiny goldfish. Yep, a special breed raised only on Pepperidge Farm. Crunchy critters and 5 tasty flavors like cheddar and Parmesan. See, Pepperidge Farm still remembers that simple things make better snacking. The best thing is goldfish are easy to catch.
Today's the day. Wanna get going in a different way. A perfect vacation from orange juice is Dole. A perfect vacation from orange juice is Dole.
Only Dole blends fresh-cut pineapple taste with other luscious fruits into 4 unique juices. Pineapple orange, pineapple grapefruit, pine orange banana, and pure pineapple.
A perfect vacation from orange juice is Dole.
Hi, I'm Murray Linder. Until now, if you wanted a bagel this delicious, you had to schlep to a bagel shop. But these are my new Lender's Big and Crusty bagels. Just like a bagel shop bagel, we make it plump, golden, and crusty. So now anytime you want a really delicious bagel, you don't have to go to a bagel shop. Just go to your freezer.
Introducing new Lender's Big and Crusty Bagels. Bagel shop taste without the schlep.
There is a tremendous prejudice against people who are overweight. And a lot of the things that they've said, if we said that about any minority, most of us be shocked and rush onto the stage. And I think that the more we communicate about these things, the better it is going to be. And I'm very, very grateful to all of you for coming and talking to us. And those of us that can learn from it, well, then we will. Thank you very much. I love your dancing.
Thank you.
Some members of our audience will receive, and a promotional fee has been provided by...
Who makes everything you wash soft enough to snuggle? Couldn't fool you. Only Snuggle gets your whole wash as soft as me.
Orifix Special Denture Adhesive. Worried about loose dentures? Orifix holds them tight day and night. Orifix them. That'll fix them.